beat them, don't join them. I think if there's nothing we are taking away from Mannaseh's address, we should take that. And as the moderator said, she's going to teach that to her children. And that is where the good things begin, teaching the children, catching them young. And catching them young with the good things, not the bad things. These days, we've thrown our children to the screen, and we don't know what they are imbibing there. And it's very important. And on that note, I just want to make another mention of something before I go to my remarks, which are quite short. I was recently researching on the situation of the elderly in general in this country. And I was looking at the African Protocol on the rights of older people. Did you know there's such an instrument? There is. It is yet to receive all the 15 ratifications that will put it into effect. Ghana has signed, but has not yet ratified. Question mark, why not? But one of the provisions that really made an impact on me is a provision on that part is on the duties of the older person. And one of those duties is to go out of your way as an older person to share your experiences with the younger generation. And I think some of us here, certainly people my age group, not many of us are here, but people my age group and maybe the generation immediately after me would remember some auntie, some uncles, some older people, even older siblings, but the sharing of experience. You were never growing up only with your peers, as is happening increasingly now. And if we want to help to salvage the next generation or their children, that is what each one of us, whether it's our legal duty or not, we must do it. It's our moral duty. I was also thinking of all the nice things that Mannaseh said about my old school, Wesley Girls. and I realized that the motto of the school, live pure, speak true, right wrong, follow the king. If you summarize it, that's integrity. That's integrity. They've simply disaggregated the integrity and mentioned it. And those words come from the Bible. And we can see that it's quite clear that our beginnings were founded on integrity and by people who were quite resilient and were prepared to go through the fire if need be. Some went to prison, some died, some got sick, and so on and so forth. And they faced these things on the national level, they faced these things personally. And I wonder, from some of the questions, I could see that even the youth is concerned as to, will we continue? And that is what we need to keep asking ourselves and committing ourselves to make sure that whatever other people are doing, we are determined that we will make a positive difference every time we are called on or our conscience calls us to it. So I'm very optimistic that this lecture has set the tone for deeper reflection on the state of our economy. In fact, all that we're doing right now is so timely, because things have reached a certain pass that it's quite obvious to everybody that things cannot continue like this forever. And our collective well-being is a matter of deep concern. And so this lecture reminds us of what we could do to salvage our nation from a national and an individual perspective. Because certainly nobody in this room has any right to think or conclude that, oh, what can I do? I am only so and so and so and so. So long as you're breathing, you're somebody who can make a difference. Ghana has been endowed with rich mineral resources, oil fields, arable lands, and green vegetation. Most of all, we have the priceless commodity of peace, which I always say is something which is just by the grace of God. It's not because of our collective character. Let's be honest. We have ceased to be peace-loving people, and the things we say about and to each other do not foment peace, but somehow if God keeps fanning down and toning down the things that we are planning to do to each other. As a country, our development has been checkered, at times rapid, at other times truncated, sometimes slow, but never entirely derailed, we thought. But yes, we've never been derailed because there's also the resilience. It could be that sometimes this resilience may be seen as apathy or cowardice, but resilience all the same. Whether it's suffering quietly or just hoping in the future that this too shall pass and we will continue and we can make it better thereafter. So we've been able to survive many adversities, including political instability and economic crisis. Now, currently there is the need to ignite national discussions on how to forge ahead to economic prosperity and to treat each other with kindness and to take care of the most vulnerable. The fact that we are resilient does not mean we should be taken advantage of. And the fact that we are resilient does not mean we should also be taking advantage of our neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself has never been truer than it is now. Now, as a university, there is a lot that we can contribute to support national development. Mannaseh mentioned a whole plethora of what steps the university can take, even if it didn't take in the past. There's always the future. And for the universities to stand, and somebody spoke about the Legon Observer. It doesn't have to be the Legon Observer. I think the point the person was making is that at least let's have a continuous space where the thoughts and the suggestions and the opinions of academia can also be aired out and aired out in the best possible way. And what the university has contributed in the form of research, training of human resources, community service, and community engagement and advocacy. All of these are things which we should now ratchet up around national issues to make the university and its work and what its impact of national importance. And I urge all gathered here and those watching online to take up the challenge. And Mannaseh has thrown out a lot of challenges. Everybody, you catch the one you think is aimed at you, and even the one not aimed at you, but you think you can do something about, you catch that one too. Because these days, being too known is not necessarily a bad thing to be. And I believe that our dear motherland will be much better for that. Now, before I close, I just want to share one of my all-time favorite passages, just a short passage from Robert Browning. If ever there was something I learned in my literature class, which I think made an impact on me, even whilst we were doing that poem, and over the years, increasingly made an impact on me and pushed me and became one of my motivating factors. It was this a passage from Robert Browning's Andrea del Sarto. But a man's reach, a woman's reach as well, should exceed their grasp of what's heaven for. What's heaven for if you can touch it just with the least effort? But as you continue to strive forward, they were singing Kukuneti Fidasuwe Chichu when the performance, and that is exactly what it is. The top, the crest, the summit is still far off. Doesn't mean just because you're tired, going to stop. So, however things look now, we can never despair and we can never give up. So long as God has given us breath to breathe, each and every one of us has a duty to move on and to continue to strive onwards and upwards, because the quest for truth is at the end the best quest you can be on. Truth and excellence. Thank you all very much. And God bless our homeland, Ghana, and happy Independence Day.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Just some quick acknowledgements as we wrap up. So